It is Mix 102.3, Adelaide's Fun Breakfast. Jody and Soda with Erin Phillips, 13 past 8 right now.
A little early this morning, we were talking about how all the officers at the airport, the border security officers now, have been given a checklist of 92 cues to look for to check that people aren't being dodgy.
That's a lot of cues to try to look for in one person.
Absolutely. So we're talking about things like sweating, clearing your throat, whistling as you walk through security. Right, a whole range of different things. So what we thought we'd do is get an expert in body language on. Her name is Catherine Molloy. She's an international speaker, communication expert with 30 years experience. Good morning, Catherine. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
We're all very, very well. Right, Catherine, this is quite fascinating. People going through airports, whether they're smuggling drugs or what they're up to. You reckon that these officers, they can find out straight away pretty quickly what people are up to?
Yes and no. Body language is very subjective. So I've just had 80 flights last year and I haven't been pulled over once. So I have a few little tips around that. Yeah. But, you know, the first thing is if you want to draw someone's attention to you, you make eye contact, don't you?
Mm. Yeah, yep.
So as I'm coming through, I generally will not make direct eye contact until I get closer or someone has asked me something. Then I will look at them because I don't actually want to draw their attention to me to start with. But you don't have darting eyes and you don't try to avoid look. So, you know, and, you know, it's interesting because when people try not to look nervous, sometimes they look more nervous.
Like Soda when I play against him.
Yeah. Erin's very competitive, right? And Catherine, in her body language, she becomes like a big peahen or a peacock and just fronts up to me. And then I noticed you said fidgeting. I fidget, Erin, don't I, when you start staring at me?
Yep.
So funny. And, you know, it's interesting because we're speaking about yawning. Well, the interesting thing with the yawning, if you're coming through, well, you might be tired from a flight, right? Yep. But stress and anxiety actually cause the brain to get hotter. And that's why some people whistle or yawn, because it actually helps regulate the body temperature.
I yawn all the time, especially after my last flight. I flew from Dallas to Sydney, which was 17 hours with 3 kids, 3 and under. I was yawning and almost falling asleep. So I would have been a perfect candidate.
Any wonder? You were probably extremely under a lot of stress with 3 children on a flight.
I did not sleep a minute.
Really, for the whole flight?
For the whole flight.
Wow. Catherine, I've got to ask, can we stop our body language of showing what we're actually thinking?
Yes, of course you can. We can control everything, but we need to be conscious. Okay. And that's really difficult because most people are only in their conscious mind 1 to 5% of the day. So if someone speaks to you, don't put your hands all over your face or touch your hair or touch your neck or touch your eyes or cover your mouth. Just keep them nice and still. Walk through with the shoulders back and with the confidence that you aren't feeling.
So, Catherine, how can I tell if Soda's lying? Give me some tips that I can check him with.
The best one is just where does his eyes go when you're asking that question initially? Like if you've quite often, depending on our learning style, we might look up, sideways or down, but if you're asking something directly and he quickly avoids looking at you, that's a good sign.
Okay.
After today, he may not put his hand on his face, but if he touches his face when he talks to you straight away, you can be pretty certain something's happening.
Wow.
Is that right?
Touching your face.
Wow. So if you've got a feeling that your partner's cheating on you and you confront them and their hand goes straight to the face, it's time to go and see a divorce lawyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, just have especially the nose, because they might be a bit frustrated with the question you're asking them right now.
Oh,
Is that right?
Okay.
And the other thing that's really interesting is sometimes people start to blink a lot more rapidly. The eye blink rate increases.
This is brilliant.
All right, Catherine, I'm going to take a little checklist here. That is fantastic. Hey, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolute pleasure, guys.
Jody and Soda.
And guest